despite only 2 games in, we're already talking about some guys that could be potentially benched. I'm going to start with Dakota Dozier, the current starting left guard, just because I did kind of mention this in a more recent video, so I thought might as well start with him. So we probably have to bench him for Ezra Cleveland, and I think it's just because he is a lot more talented, and Dozier could actually be limit some play calling things, as he isn't as athletic as some of the other linemen we have, which really limits you in these wide zone schemes, because it's constantly asking your linemen to get to the second level. Now, Dozier doesn't consistently get to the second level, and could also be one of the reasons why we haven't seen that many screens, despite being such a great screen team in 2019. And if you want to just talk about tools, well, the two that I think would probably stick out the most between Dozier and Cleveland, Dozier had 23 bench reps and a 1.95 10-yard split. So that's, to me, that's a pretty good gauge of athleticism for linemen. I know a lot of people like to look at 40s, but the 10-yard split is more realistic for offensive and defensive linemen, because that's how fast they move in 10 yards. And that 195 is going up against Cleveland's 173, and 23 bench reps compared to 30, it's really not even a question. Cleveland will have more tools to work with here. And I know Cleveland doesn't play with much power, but Dozier really hasn't shown to play with much power either. So I think just kind of get the kid out there. And Dozier is coming off of a game where he had a 25.1 pass block grade from PFF from a week ago, allowing 3 pressures. He has a total grade of 55.0 from PFF over the 2 games. And Elfline's grade at left guard in 2019 was a 64.7. And I think I saw that his pass block grade was actually in the mid-40s. It was either 45 or 46. So he's actually playing significantly worse than Pat Elflein did in 2019 at left guard. It's a little bit of a concern. My second one here is Colton Hill. Now, he's already been targeted 16 times through 2 games. He's allowed 12 completions for 75%, 151 yards, 12.6 yards per completion, 9.4 per target. He's allowed a score and 124.7 quarterback rating when throwing against him. Now, in fairness, I think you probably could have picked any of Minnesota's corners and kind of put him into this spot. I am kind of saying Colton Hill just because he has 16 targets. He has been by far the most targeted corner on the team. The next one is Mike Hughes at 9. And it just, teams feel like they can clearly attack Colton Hill, and he has shown little to no resistance to doing it. And as long as you have Cameron Dantzler, who should be back from, I would think, from the rib injury, hopefully, and Jeff Gladney, I see no reason why you should be forced to play Colton Hill. Just a thought, because he hasn't shown much resistance at all. At least with those 2 guys, there's, you have him long term. Colton Hill's in a contract year. He's not looking too hot. We could kind of see what we have in the future over there. And this one is kind of cheating in a way, because it's 2 guys, and that's Jaleel Johnson and Armon Watts. So Jaleel Johnson, he's gotten a majority of the snaps, so we'll go over him first. He's had 7 solo tackles with 10 combined, 1 TFL, and that's it. He has no quarterback hit, no hurry, no knockdown, no pressure, no sack. That's all he has. It's not very good. He's played 103 snaps for 68% of the snaps. Now, Armon Watts has 2 solo tackles with 3 total tackles. No TFLs, no quarterback hit, but he does have a hurry and a pressure, but also no sack or knockdown. Excuse me. Now, my assumption is Shamar Stephen is safe, and the other 2 have been super underwhelming as well. Jaleel more specifically, because we're talking 68% of the snaps. That's even more than Stephen, who has 61% of the snaps, and Stephen himself has 2 pressures. So in terms of actual pass rush production, Shamar Stephen is producing more than both Jaleel Johnson and Armon Watts. Now, they do have rookie 4th-round pick in James Lynch, and honestly, I think you should try it because they have nothing to lose at this point. We're not getting any production out of that spot next to Shamar Stephen anyway, so if you put in a rookie too early, what's the worst case scenario? You've already allowed over 150 yards in both games. So, worst case scenario, I guess you allow 150 yards again, and and you still have no pass rush. I just don't think there's not much to lose. It's like, let's just see if we can at least generate a pass rush, because that was kind of his big thing at Baylor. And yeah, and this next one, I wasn't really sure how fair it was to put this one kind of on blast, but it is Olabisi Johnson. This is kind of sticking with a theme of let's just get the more explosive athlete on the field. And Johnson has caught he's caught 4 of his 7 targets for 80 yards, 20 yards per catch, no touchdowns, 3 first downs, 57.1 catch percentage, 11.4 yards per target. And Jefferson has caught 5 of 6 targets for 70 yards, 14 yards per catch, also no touchdowns, but also 3 first downs, 83.3% on the catch percentage, and 11.7 yards per target. Now, he has played 10 more snaps than Jefferson. It's 75 versus 65 and 71% versus 61%. Now, it's hard to judge some of the numbers because Olabisi Johnson has been, it's hard to tell with some of the line and quarterback struggles we've had in the last 2 weeks. But Jefferson is just the more explosive athlete, and I'm not saying I want Johnson not to play at all. I'm just thinking maybe we try to go to just have Jefferson as the number 2, and then you can slide him into the slot when you go into 3 guys. And I don't think that's really too much to ask of him. And clearly, what they have been doing has not been working. So I don't really see an issue with some of these changes, or even if they made all of the changes. I just think at a certain point you kind of have to, before everything is lost and before they really start thinking maybe we are a 2-win team, I think they at least are going to try some personnel changes. That's why I'm going over this, and that's just kind of the first ones that came to my mind of that need to be replaced. I would like to know your guys' comments down below, opinions, thoughts, all that good stuff down there. That's what it's there for. And, like and subscribing, super helpful. And until next time, I bid y'all adieu.